whenever anxiety happens in my life, I think of it a lot like when my phone gives me that 10% reminder and I get a little anxious, like, oh my gosh, is my phone gonna die? It's an indicator to tell me I need to go plug this thing in. So for me, whenever I get anxious, it's almost like a little warning to me to be like, I need to pray. You know, like.
That's good, babe.
I'm counting on you for a really funny story. You got any funny stories? Kick us off.
Yes, but I can't share it yet.
Why?
Because it's not public information.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's that one.
Well,
it's not the one.
okay.
It's not the one about me spilling jalapenos.
Well, the jalapenos were hilarious too because I was sitting over there and all of a sudden I heard the thud and you saying like, "Ugh, seriously?" And then I just saw jalapenos sliding slowly down the freezer.
It's a true story. And then
Wait, do you think my voice sounds?
Yeah, very smoky.
I like it. I wish it would stay like this forever.
It sounds like you were like gargling with gravel.
It's been like this for a week since I was trying to break up the fight between Lou and Tony.
Ooh.
And I like yelled at them
you
know.
had to channel your inner dog growl.
Well, I was like on the other side of the room when they started fighting, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, one, Louis is insane. Two, Tony at some point is going to have to defend himself, and if he does, he's going to accidentally kill Lou. Like, I knew it wasn't in his heart.
At what point when you heard this newfound voice of yours, did you not go, holy cows, I sound like a werewolf?
Well, I thought it, and that's why I wore this shirt. Yeah. But this is the thing. I actually love my voice, together. Like this speaking voice. I feel like it sounds like I should be like a celebrity singer. Like if my voice,
but you're not singing.
But if this speaking voice could translate to my singing voice, it would be really cool.
Right now, I feel like John Legend on The Voice, and I'm just like, it's your tone. It's your tone. It's a distinct tone.
It is my tone. It is a distinct tone.
I'm looking for tone here, and you have that distinct tone.
Also, Callista educated me that there's more than one kind of bun, which I didn't know. I just throw it up and see what She didn't say cheerleader bun. What'd you say?
Yeah, cheerleader bun.
You can speak.
She said this is a cheerleader bun.
Gymnast bun. I didn't know. I just made this I'm wearing my wolf shirt, my earrings from the 90s or maybe the 80s from Ayana. Throw my hair in a bun. The real goal was see as much silver as possible so that it would match my shirt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goal accomplished.
Yes. I'm using a to-go cup today,
I'm glad you thought so much about all the things in life that matter.
Did you hear me? I'm using a to-go cup.
I was sitting back thinking about, I wonder what God wants us to say today.
And I was thinking, I hope my hair matches my shirt.
No, I was kidding.
Some of us are holier than others, you know?
No.
Do you like my cup?
It's a fantastic cup. I'm sorry that I got in front of you while you were trying to show how it changes colors earlier.
Well, I can't really show it because my coffee's not going to get hotter during the thing, but it changes colors when, like the candy canes change colors when they get hot or cold.
Are you currently drinking cold or hot?
Well, I'm drinking hot because if I was drinking cold, I'd have put it in a cold cup, not a hot cup.
Oh. I'm glad to know there's a difference.
Well, so today we have not only Ben joining us, but Callista. So she said she wanted to sit in because she's done with work.
We wanted an audience.
We just told her, like, listen, you can be part of this, but you can't do anything stupid in the background because that's something that she does like to do is, you know, like dancing or funny faces or
stupid dancing.
Stupid dancing, yeah, whatever.
Trying to get a laugh. Babe, you know what's funny? Okay,
I think you should sing "Happy Anniversary" to me.
Happy anniversary to you.
Wait, no. Make up a jingle.
Happy anniversary to you.
That's not any different than the regular.
We tried jingles a few seasons ago. Many episodes ago. You'd have to scroll.
But it was a really good jingle. So I'd like one. Well, first off, we should explain it's not like actually our anniversary. It's our anniversary the first time we met.
Which is interesting.
Pretty cool. 21 years ago. So I'm ready for my jingle. You can include, I'm giving you a meat here.
Did you say 21 years ago? 21
years ago.
Yes, because today is the
December
anniversary.
8th, 99.
Well, okay.
Joe and Sami met at the club. Okay, make a jingle. Come on. I'll give you a beat.
I've got like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme going on in my head.
Oh.
Yeah.
There once was a... Go ahead.
I don't know.
A girl.
Well, now you just made me think of the Brady Bunch. Now I've got so many mixed genres in my...
That's not the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, there was. Remember? There was a fella...
No. No, it's not. Once was a... How did it go? How did the Fresh Prince go? Why do I not know this? Wait.
I've learned
hold
two
on.
things about
Stop
myself.
talking. Hold on. I have to channel it.
I'm 42 years old, and if I've learned two things in life, I've learned this. I am terrible at creating jingles on the spot.
Okay.
And
what about spoken word poetry? Could you try that?
At the beginning of every one of our videos, I must nervously drink coffee because
then you have to pee every time we're done.
I take more sips in the first 5 minutes than I do in the whole hour that we record.
Yeah, your bicep looks good.
That was that's what I was thinking about when I put this shirt on.
Yep.
I was like,
Wolves and biceps.
Wolves and biceps.
That's the name for this one, Ben.
No,
Wolves
it's
and
not.
biceps.
Nope, it's not.
Well, we of course, if we're trying to like get some people to click on it, we should call it The Man in the Mirror, but not with Michael Jackson.
No, today's is going to be called The Man in the Mirror,
but not Michael Jackson.
You almost segued us to it earlier when
Me too.
So I spilled the jalapenos.
Sliding all down the refrigerator, in slow motion.
You laughed at me a little, and then you said something. What did you say? That's very...
Oh, I said that's very 2020.
To which I said,
but they were
that's going to be
like,
a thing. Listen, I will predict it.
Down the freezer door, just taunting you, and it was great.
I will predict it right now that once we get past 2020 will be used as a... What would you call that?
Like it'll be used as like the theme. Like
yeah, no, it's going to be a thing. Like it's going to be that's so
like
2020.
like a catchphrase. No, not a catchphrase. What would that be?
I don't know.
What do you call that when it's like a saying?
A slogan.
No,
a saying.
No, it's like a.
Think of a fancier way to say slogan.
A figure of speech.
Yeah, a catchphrase. A pun. No, it won't be a pun.
No, not a pun.
I think it's figure of speech. I can seriously.
No,
I can see it now.
Yeah, like oh, that was so 2020.
Somebody spills something, it'll be like that's so 2020, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Anything that just represents crazy and disorder, anxiety-ridden situations.
Or jalapeno sliding down
people
the
are just going to forever today.
And if nobody else uses it but us, that's all right. We'll use it.
I think it's already probably being used. I don't think we're being original right now, but
no, I think we're the only ones. All right. Guys, we're gonna patent it. We're gonna patent.
No,
that's so 2020.
That's so 2020.
Let's do it, babe. We should patent it right now before anyone sees this.
Let's make a T-shirt.
I'm making a T-shirt,
first, folks. You heard it here first.
You're gonna finally be like the Hodge twins, making a T-shirt.
The Hodge twins are under a lot of fire right now. Those poor guys.
Well, we're not gonna go there.
It's a dangerous day to be standing up for politics. That's for sure.
Yeah, no matter what side of the fence you are on.
Or to be standing up for anything, to be honest.
Seriously.
Oh, I'm so glad to not be on social media. What's the funniest?
You're missing out in some ways, but you're also really blessed in some ways too.
You have taken time to show me there's been some real positive things. And that's what we want to talk about today. Well, I actually posted it on my social media that we were talking about this today and asked people like, hey, is there anything that you've seen in 2020 or like, the whole man in the mirror thing. So I had a couple of responses I could share. Let me set it up and then you can take us away. So, no pun intended. I was reflecting. I was reflecting on what we would talk about today.
Okay. I see what you did there, babe.
And,
I was reflecting.
You can't buy... good job. You can buy a lot of things, right?
Did you hear my smoky voice?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
I heard your smoky voice.
Okay.
I used to say something along the lines of like, you can't go to school to get management experience. You can learn all this. You can learn all this stuff. Mm-hmm. You can sit and you could read a library's worth of books. You could watch 9 million videos. That still falls short of actual experience. At some point, you just got to go out and you got to experience whatever. And 2020, for all of what it's worth, is an experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine
good, bad, and ugly.
Well, I can't imagine anyone in any part of the world that 2020 hasn't been some sort of an experience. For many people, the first of an experience of real testing and trying. And where this came from, to be honest with you, and this is very sad actually, but what really inspired this was Japan. Of all the news that's going on and all the things that I have paid a little bit of attention to, one thing that really stuck out to me was Japan is experiencing suicide rates at an astronomical
incline.
And they were using it, and what's sad about it was it was such a small part of big news. You know what I mean? On the top of all the political news and vaccine type stuff, all that stuff that's going on, Japan had this small little article that just said, as we're trying to figure out how to tighten up restrictions and isolate more, suicide has taken far more of our community members than the coronavirus ever could have.
Yeah, and I think that's the case in the States too. I don't really know the statistics, but I know that it's been an increase here too.
Yeah, so I've been a person, and I don't know if it's because of my own hardships as a child and different tough situations I've come through, but what makes trials valuable is when you can come on the other side of them in a positive way.
Yeah, like changed well.
Nobody would ever welcome or be excited about trials and tribulations, but people can get to the other side of them and be very grateful. So when I was thinking about this theme, 2020, thinking about the verse about a man who looks at himself in the mirror, sees something, goes away and does nothing about it, or the man that sees himself in the mirror forgets what he looks like. Right. That kind of theme. What has 2020 exposed in us? What has it revealed to us about ourselves, and what have we done with it? So for me, my personal thing, and then we'll get into some of yours, is 2020 revealed something to me that I wouldn't say I was like really shocked about, but I was also very disturbed about when I really started to wrap my head around it. And that is 2020 has revealed to me that I'm not content in all things.
Which I feel like you would have thought you were.
Yeah, no.
Prior, right? Wouldn't you? Yeah. Like, I feel like you've kind of always oozed that, like, being content. Like, I'm content. I don't need more. I don't, whatever. It wouldn't be something that I would think would come to the surface necessarily. Yeah, and
what I realize, and maybe some people that are watching or listening to this can relate to, is it deepened my appreciation for where we live. Because let me just give you an example. So I was struggling. The political season at its highest, I chose to get maybe a little too involved in just learning and trying to. I enjoyed.
Yeah, you just been like sponging it up.
I enjoyed,
which is difficult because obviously there's a lot of
for me
biases.
For me the motive was truly to be non-biased, but to be able to offer a word to those that ask. We've got a lot of children, we've got a lot of people around us, and I know that this has been a hot and trying season. So I wanted to be somebody that was at least educated enough that I could offer some very just non-biased info. Well, what I wasn't prepared for is where it started to affect me. And in that place of where it was affecting me, I would say it drove me to a place of anxiety, maybe even some depression, like some depression, like negative thought days. Okay, so while I was in the thick of that, whenever anxiety happens in my life, I think of it a lot like when my phone gives me that 10% reminder and I get a little anxious, like, oh my gosh, is my phone going to die? It's an indicator to tell me I need to go plug this thing in. So for me, whenever I get anxious, it's almost like a little warning to me to be like, I need to pray.
That's good, babe.
This anxiety left to itself will only become worse. It will lead to negative places. So I have always, I shouldn't say always, but I try to use anxiety, to push me into pray or to read or listen to music, whatever. Well, you and I have had a long time together of creating lists, whether they're just in our heads or on paper. And what I learned in this whole not being content with everything, or not being able to find contentment in all situations, was how much money is an idol. Because I could put down on my list of things that I was thankful for. So like when I was anxious and I started praying and I started thinking about all the uncertainties of the future and all this, I realized that the only thing that wasn't, there for me to find was like, where's the world going to be? Like, is there going to be jobs for people? Are we going to be able to find work? Are we going to be able to find money for our organization, to keep doing what we're doing? And I had realized that was causing me to be discontent in a lot of areas of my life. So what has 2020 revealed to you, right? Is kind of the theme and the question. And for me, it was about saying, whether we like it or not, 2020 is an experience. And for most, it could be rooted in hardship, more along the lines of trials and tribulations and, anxiety and all the uncertainty and just the craziness, that I've seen come through the news and social media and all that type of stuff. If we're going to go through that, if we're going to have that as an experience, how can we make it a positive experience? So as we've seen these things about ourselves in this season, what have we done about them? Or have we just literally said, oh, I'm looking in the mirror and I see this huge, cyst on my face, and I'm just going to walk away and choose to do nothing about it and not come out of a season like this changed?
Yeah. So like I was saying a bit ago, I had just kind of thrown that question out there. So I'll just share with you a couple people's answers, and then we can talk about mine too. I love this. God is 1,000% in control, and that worry is a sin that I need to give to him.
Yeah, kind of in line with anxiety should be a warning to us to start praying.
Yeah, it's time to plug in.
Yeah.
And then someone else said, lately, resilience. That's what I'm choosing to see. I could say tired and broken.
Sure.
But despite those things, I go on. So I'd say resilience.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah, it's not about looking in the mirror and seeing. I think a season like this, for a lot of people, you would see something. That's at least what I'm sharing. 2020 revealed something in me that other experiences up until 2020 didn't reveal. And those things, if the process is all about sanctifying, becoming more and more like Christ, sometimes it takes circumstances like this to reveal something about ourselves to be able to lay before God.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes it can also reveal like really great things.
Great things
that
too.
are in us
Sure.
too. Yeah. So, someone else said, some of the brightest moments and most beautiful miracles we've had have come this year, adding 2 kids to our family through adoption and just the mountains that God moved with them.
Yeah.
And then she said that, it was kind of a longer paragraph, and she said, that all sounds so bright and cheery, and it's not always. We've battled and we've been worn and weary. I don't want to mislead, but every weakness of mine has been revealed and tested. But to see him victorious and fighting for us, wow.
I can agree. Like that. So what I love about that is that's really what this was rooted in for me. If I were to zero in on particular low moments, they were ugly. Like some of the hardest days, moments that I've had to work through have come in this season. But if I were to say 2020 overall has probably been the most fruitful, most amazing year because of what that adversity produced. And that produced more of like what God is in control.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think like when we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, like 2020, like we just think pandemic and a crashing economy.
There's some people that will just write the year off and be like, whew, thankfully that's gone.
But there's also underneath just that layer, which is huge enough, there's also people that are going through really horrific things. Like there's people that are going through tragedies and traumas. And like even today, I just saw that one of my friend's son was just diagnosed with a brain tumor. Yeah. Like their 2020 isn't just pandemic. It's like, it seems like, or like our friends, the Links, it's like every day there's something on their social media that they're posting. Somebody got their finger impaled. Somebody fell down the stairs and broke their knee. It's like every week something's happening. It just seems like this really has been a year of just like abundant mishap. But at the same time, like I also look at it and I'm like, of course, like we've gone through a lot of things ourselves too. But I also look at it like, man, like, yes, are there really ugly parts about me? Sure. Like, the wolf can be either, significant of like being ferocious and like steadfast or just being nasty. And I for sure have been both. And so I think, for me, I'm like,
I'm glad you see that in yourself.
Shut up. And so, listen to this, dude. So, I think overall I have seen like that same thing, like resilience and just realizing like, man, also, like, I don't know how people do it without Jesus. I literally look around and I see the just hard things that so many people are going through.
Yeah.
And I know for me, like, we're going through hard things. We've gone through hard things. We'll probably go through harder things. And I, like, can't function unless, like you said, like, you're plugging that battery in because you're like, okay, I know, like, my strength is sapped. Like, I got to find it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, praise, you know, music, whatever, like even just with your word, spending time in the word, talking to friends that are Christians and like processing, like all of that. Like I cannot even imagine doing this life, 2020, let alone, but this life, like without that ability to refuel. I just can't, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Sobering and humbling, when it's being exposed to us, the sobering, humbling part for me is that's not new to God. Mm-hmm. Like he's been aware of that all along. Mm-hmm. And sometimes these very trying times or whatever are the ways that he actually responds to our prayers. I mean, there's been a lot of times in my life where I've said, God, search my heart, you know, take out anything impure, anything, you know, like, you know, do a work. Well, how genuine is that prayer if the way that God needs to do it is to reveal it? And to be honest with you, revealing it sometimes doesn't come when everything's going good, you know, in a strong bull market where the, you know, stocks are raging and the savings accounts full of money, you know, sometimes it's tested right here. And that's what I saw in myself. And it's hard because I wouldn't say I've mistreated the opportunities of America as far as like money. I've always used and appreciated them. But in this season right now where I sit and I think about why am I anxious today? Why am I worried? It's rooted in money. And you know, is the economy going to come back? Are people going to continue to be generous? You know, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, you just got, you know, it goes back to what really matters. And boy, oh boy, I'm under a roof. I've got my beautiful wife and my wonderful kids, and I've got a vehicle. I've got food in the, you know, like at the moment, that's only robbing and stealing from me the future that I don't know about anyways. We're not promised tomorrow. Today.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is it's
today,
like
I should be content today.
We can lay the best plans, and we can even think that the best plans are like what God has for us, and we can quickly find ourselves living in Texas, you know, which is so far a great plan, but definitely wasn't part of our plan, you know?
No, yeah, for sure. You were also saying something too when you were reading some of those comments and messages, and there is sometimes, you know, the really loud noises that we're hearing that steal from some of the quieter noises that are actually the bigger deals, you know. And in this season, the reality is there's a lot of people that are losing their jobs. You'd have to fact check me on this one. I know that's a big thing these days. It's fact checking.
Well, don't you go throwing out made up numbers,
well, it was Fox or CNN, since they're all fake news anyways. Maybe this is a fake statistic. But they said it was something 11.5, almost 12 million people have lost their jobs this year. And, you know, you don't give that a ton of thought until all of a sudden it's kind
your
of
job.
Until it's affecting you.
Yeah.
And I still go back to that's what I mean is the trickle effect. You know, we're not even done. I think the thing that is really exhausting for a lot of people is we're not even through this yet.
Yeah.
You know, we're not through this yet.
Yeah.
Breakthrough could come at any moment, but the trickle effects will still be here. So for me and for you, and as far as God is concerned, when 2020 revealed to you these things about yourself, what did you do with them, and how are you going to come out better and stronger? Did you find your peace in God, right?
Yeah, I think I kind of skipped over maybe like what I feel it's revealing in me personally, and I would say lots of things for sure, but I think I've always felt like I'm kind of tough, you know, like I'm able to kind of get a lot done, and I'm able to if I put my mind to something, like stick it out. And, I mean, like I look back to like last summer, well, not, like 20, what year we were in 2019 summer.
Yeah.
It was like planning a wedding, selling a house, packing to move international, like all this stuff going on with you and Calista and Ben out of the country and me home doing it all stateside wise. And I also graduated high school in the middle of all of that. And I just think like at the time I thought, man, like I can really handle a lot.
Yeah.
And then this year, when our whole life shifted and other things just kept shifting and more was getting added to my plate, like I quickly realized like I had a capacity,
Yeah.
like, because I would always wonder like, man, like there is just nothing that can stop me. Like I can just keep on going. And in many ways that's true. Like God's made me a pretty tough girl. Like I'm going to keep on plugging away. But there's definitely been times in this last year where I'm curled up in a ball crying in my bed or, just frustrated and feeling like, man, I can't actually do it all. And so I'd say for me, for sure, this year has revealed like that I have more limitations than I like to have thought previously. Yeah. And that's okay. And that it's okay to not be everything always to everyone and not to do A, B, C, D, all the way to Z all the time, Sure. And so I think what it shows me is that not only do I have capacity in my, like, just Sami Rogalski, but that when I am, like, connected to him, like, when I am remaining in the vine, when I am remaining in me and I'll remain in you, I'm the vine, you're the branches. Yeah. When I actually am remaining, that I actually am able to accomplish more than my original capacity would allow. Because there's times even now where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and of course, like I've taken on this new like job or whatever. And it's not really a job. It's a job. It's an actual, I'm going to not quote it. Taking on a new job.
It is a job.
And it's like, just trying to navigate, like balancing my life. Like, how do I be a mom and be present, even though I'm kind of failing at that in some ways? And how do I make sure that Upstream is still staying in front of people because I'm the only one with social media right now? And how do I do this? And how do I do that? And how do I sell this so we can pay for this? And how do, like just all of that stuff. And for sure, like, me, there's days where I'm just kind of like I'm frozen. I'm literally like, the mountain is like this big and my capacity is stopping like right about here. But those days where I'm like, okay, that's true. Sami Rogalski is limited in capacity. Like, and that's not a bad thing. Like, that's an okay thing. But our world tells us it's not. It's you've got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, girl, wash your face, and just crush it. And it's like, that's just not always true. Like, sometimes you can't just wash your face and go. Yeah. Sometimes you can't just throw on your mascara and call it good. Like, sometimes it just is hard. And so this year for sure, and I would say last year too, like just because of everything that we were going through in Haiti with our transition and stuff, I just so like in such a new way and such a deeper way realized like my dependency on Jesus. Does that mean that I always go to him every time I'm low? No, but those are the days that I can tell that I didn't. And we all know how those look. They look like the not good wolf.
I think it's safe to assume that this is a fair title.
Man in the Mirror, but not Michael Jackson?
Yes, Man in the Mirror. That 2020 threw up a mirror for us to see parts of ourselves that maybe we weren't seeing before. And it's really everybody's job to decide if they want to come out of it better or worse or kicking and screaming. Because what's hard is 2020 is the result of a lot of people's pain, but you can't stay victim. You can't lose it all and say, well, it was 2020 that did it to me. Eventually we'll have to move on from this. So I gave you, myself, these guys a practical tip. I kind of wanted to leave you with one other one. The first one, in case you didn't remember, was... Oh,
this is good, babe. I got a good one. I'm listening.
Was use anxiety as a warning light.
Yeah, that's good.
Use anxiety. When you start to feel anxious, when your mind starts to catastrophize, when it feels like the accuser, right? The one that stands against us starts to tell us the wheels are going to fall off, the sky is falling, things aren't going to get better, 2020 is going to sink us off.
You're going to lose everything.
We're going to lose everything. You're not good enough. You're going to fail. Whatever these things are, use those thoughts, those anxieties as a warning symbol to plug in. right? Just
Yeah,
like
that's
10% battery life on your phone, go plug in. And plugging in looks like finding the peace that only God can give through prayer. So using anxiety to pray.
Wow, Tony.
Using anxiety to get around brothers and sisters in Christ that can speak good, encouraging words to you.
Yeah.
And I have another one, but it sounds like you have something you want to say.
What happens though, like we all know, because I am this girl, that you get the warning light at 10%, but you're mid-text message and you die at 0. Like, but you were warned. You were warned at 10, 9, 8.
No, 20 usually.
It literally even like goes from like, yellow to red critical, and yet you can just still keep on going, keep on thinking like, oh, I just got one more thing I can get done. And then, well, boom, you're flatlined.
Yeah. Well, thank God.
I'm just saying, pay attention to the warning lights. And don't wait until you're.
I was gonna say,
until you're dead.
Well,
I mean, not dead. Well, don't wait till you're dead either. But like, don't wait until you're like deadish.
Don't ignore the warning. The warning.
Yeah, until you're fried.
What did you pull up here that you wanted to share?
I was just gonna quote a little MJ with the man in the mirror.
Oh, Michael Jackson himself.
Yeah.
Well, that would be appropriate since it's called The Man in the Mirror. We might get sued for using The Man in the Mirror since it's...
I don't think so. Can I use it if I'm quoting it? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm quoting Michael Jackson. Ben said it's okay. If it's not, I'll tell you where to find him. Yeah, we'll blame him. Okay, I just like this because it also, like, if we think about, okay, what is the purpose behind determining what we see when we look in the mirror, right? Like, obviously, you want to grow in your relationship with Jesus. Obviously, like, it is a thing about you, but it's also about how that you impacts you and the world as a whole. Like,
well, that's the harmony. The harmony is we aren't just individuals in our own bubble in this world.
Right.
We actually all come together for the greater good. So,
yes. And so these words were spinning through my head because I said the word Michael Jackson, and well, then I just started singing in my own head while you were talking, and I'm sorry. So one part of that Man in the Mirror song says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Ooh. Woo, Michael Jackson. Living on with them words.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to leave us with this, and you can jump on any extra points. But when I was thinking about, 2020, revealing
that's what gets me in the tear ducts. Holy moly.
Well, our lifestyle is all about making a difference and being the change in the world. That doesn't always look beautiful.
No,
but in the times of trials and tribulations, it's more about how you come out on the other side of it than
and
the damage it does.
Making the world a better place. Ooh,
so I was thinking
MJ.
about. I shared with you the other day. So this would be one of those things where I think it's a practical tool, right? So I said when we hear anxiety rise up and we hear the negativity and we think about the negativity and we buy into the negativity and we stay into the negativity. There is something about Scripture that is supposed to take its residence inside of us, right? Like the whole point of Scripture is like food. It's supposed to go into us. We're supposed to ingest it. It's supposed to become a part of us. It's what strengthens and fuels us. And when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about a message that I heard not that long ago. It was maybe a few months ago. But anyways, without using names or anything like that.
Oh gosh, now you're scaring me.
This was a gentleman who speaks all the time. You can hear him on YouTube channels and TV and radio and all that type of stuff. And he was pulled aside by a little old lady from his audience, and she goes, boy, aren't you from such and such a neighborhood? And he goes, yes, I am. She goes, well, I'm from such and such a neighborhood. And she goes, how come you don't talk like where you come from? So this particular town and neighborhood, people have thick southern drawl. And this gentleman doesn't really speak in a thick southern drawl. So she was kind of taken back by the fact that he didn't sound like where he came from. And I was thinking to myself, in this season, do we sound like where we come from? Like when I'm speaking, do I sound like somebody that believes in the hope and the faith and the words of Jesus? Do I believe in the identity that God has given me, that when the world's saying things are going to get crazier, or when the enemy is telling me that I'm going to fail or we're going to fail or things are all going to go to hell in a handbasket or whatever, do I still sound like and represent where I come from. As Christians, we should sound like where we come from. So when we're on Facebook and we hear something, do we choose to reply? And in our reply, does it sound like where we come from? Does it sound like somebody that's rooted in love? You feel where I'm going with this?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's not so much even like, do we sound like where we come from? Do we even talk to ourselves like where we come? Are we talking to each other like where we come from? So, yeah, this lady was talking about a Southern accent, but I'm talking about the life-giving, beautiful message of Jesus and what a person's life should sound like. That is drawing its strength from God and from the Word in this season. Or is 2020 revealing something into you and you're just changing the tune and buying into the negativity or the hate or the part of division or whatever. So anyways, that was kind of my big takeaway is this is the season, that should be drawing us closer to God, closer to community, closer to family, more dependent on God, more trusting, more faithful. There's going to be some people in this season that make way more money than they did in years past because they happen to be a part of an industry that's a benefactor of this season. There are some people that are going to lose tremendous amounts of money because of this season. Will it inspire those that have more to share and keep the good works going? Or, you know what I mean? It's a testing and trying season.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is.
What is it producing?
Yeah. Something to be thinking about, for sure.
Something to be thinking about.
Yeah.
What was your
I have a light on my face.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot of light on your face. You're like in a disco ball.
That's okay. Am I fine now?
Like
is that good, Ben?
Ball.
If I sit right here and don't move?
Yeah.
You got closing words to our peeps, babe?
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Starting with the man in the mirror.
I'm asking her to change her ways.
I'm asking him to change his ways.
There is not a message that could be clearer.
There is no message that could be clearer.
If you want to make the world a better place,
if you want to make the world a better place,
take a look at yourself and make a change. That's what I'm going to try to do.
I'm
Why does that make me feel like crying? Oh, that's so good.
Hey, thank you all. Sorry that we had a couple of weeks off. Holidays,
Family first, y'all.
Family first, y'all. But we're back at it.
Well, right now we are. Next week we have family in town, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, for those of you guys that don't know something, small fact about me, my favorite word is also a city in Wisconsin. Sheboygan.
When did that become your favorite word?
Me and the boys have just been going, it's Sheboygan. Ox thinks it's hilarious. He comes in the room, he's like, Sheboygan. I don't know. Always
I really don't get it.
I think Calista and Ben should name their dog Sheboygan. It's Sheboygan.
Boygan. Maybe his name could be Boygan.
All right, peace.
All right, that was another episode of the Upstream TV podcast. Thank you for staying around till the very end of this episode. We appreciate your support. If you like this episode, would you please do us a favor and go leave us a review on whichever platform you are listening? If you go to the very bottom, leave us a star review and write about it. It helps us reach more people with our podcast, and we would appreciate that a ton. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend and use it to encourage your friend. We would also really appreciate that. You guys have a good week and enjoy this upcoming holiday with your family and friends.